I was raised on the Blood Reserve, Dana. I am Native American. For nearly a century, we were put into the residential school system, a system where we were expected to be integrated into Canadian society. My father always told me stories of his residential school experience. In some ways, through him, I too experienced the residential schools.
I first attended the St. Paul's Indian Residential School in 1956. I was about 6 years old when I first went into the school, and it was very scary the first day that we went into the school. We didn't know exactly what to expect in the school. I guess my earliest memory of the school was this huge building made out of brick, red brick, and it was very institutionalized. It had staff that were, some of them had uniform, and it was very scary the first day that we went into the school. We didn't know exactly what to expect in the school.
My cousin Rennie is about the same age as my dad. They went to the school together. I know that the schools greatly affected his life.
I was 6 years old, and I started there in 1955. I remember when my parents first brought me there, I was kind of awestruck. The preacher there took me to the boys' side, and went in the door. I remember my dad talking to the principal, and
Sometimes, the staff weren't very tolerant of the students. Essentially, it was like a prison. We were expected to jump out of bed, get ready, march down in a long line down to the dining room, and we just wait in line until the bell went for us to go for breakfast. And it was really foreign to us. When we tried to rebel against it, we got into trouble. On many occasions, I saw the supervisors, beating on the kids, or the children were expected to take their lickings and continue and learn from it. It wasn't a very healthy environment for any child. We had a common interest, or we were all forced to be there together.
so it still felt pretty strange being in there, scared.
It kind of made things difficult for us because it was such a foreign culture. We were very fluent in our own language, the Blackfoot language. And right off the bat, when we first went into the school, we were discouraged not to speak our language.
But that didn't prevent me from speak in Blackfoot whenever I could, when nobody was looking.
Sometimes it feels like the schools never left. The system they imposed on us is evident in our society today. I believe that each individual carries with them behaviors and attitudes that were created in the residential school system. Some are unaware of this, especially the children of the survivors.
I don't know, I got tired of it, them telling us about this book that they read to us every morning, and it gets boring listening to that big book all the time. And I didn't ever really comprehend that. My opinion, they shoved it down my throat and expected me to digest it, but that's the way it was.
The parents were taken out of the picture. They weren't allowed to take their children, and in some cases the children were stuck there for months and months.
I didn't really enjoy it. I guess that's the reason me and another student, we used to run away from there. But I was only 15 when I quit school, and I was pretty bitter, and it caused me a lot of problems, alcohol, and part of it was because I kind of learned to drink there. There was an incident that happened to me, and it affected me for a long time. I kind of buried it eventually until this residential schools claim came into effect in, I think, 1997 or 96. It was good for me in some ways, but it brought back a lot of bitterness, and it just kind of brought things back for me. And the end result of that was it almost killed me, because I just started drinking again. And so here we are today, and I'm still recovering from my accident. But I'm hoping to bury it again like I did at one time. Life's got to go on, and I'm not getting any younger. So I ain't gonna worry about it anymore.
You know, I left the school feeling that I didn't really fit into the mainstream society. And you know, when I left the school, there was a great sense of satisfaction that finally I was getting out of there, because we were forced to become, you know, Christianized, and that aspect has turned many of our people against Christianity, and because they weren't fully taught of our own ways, they become very lost, and many of us are seeking our own ways, you know, and you know, there's a lot of conflict between our own ways and the Christian ways. And I guess it's not surprising because I would say that the priests, and also like in the Roman Catholic schools, the nuns, they tried to take that away from us, you know, just take it right out of us so that we wouldn't be what we were, you know, our culture and the people we were. They were changing us into something else that they wanted us to be, the government wanted us to be, you know, these law-abiding brown people, you know, that spoke English and fit into the white society, which never happened.
My generation has its own struggle ahead of us. Our parents and elders will eventually pass on to the next world. They won't be there to help us, which is the way of my people. When they pass on, our connection to the old way of life is lost forever.